personal foul, face mask, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Let's get this episode started.
Yes.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Off the Bench.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween to everybody. I, of course, am the prodigal son of the Cleveland Browns, Baker Mayfield. And joining me, as always, is the worst person in the NFL, the referees.
Ed Hockley. Ooh.
Heard that?
Snap
Heard
the
that
shoulder
pop.
there.
All right. On today's episode, we got a few things we're going to talk about. Obviously, the NFL. We're both dressed as wonderful players and parts and cogs in the NFL. World Series has gone to Game 7 for the, what is it? For the first time in 4 years? Since 2016.
Tonight.
Give me PTSD. All right, thanks MLB.
Yeah.
Along with that, we got a player playing in Game 7, Garrett Cole. Where do we think he's going to go this offseason?
Yep.
And then finally, the trade deadline of the NFL was nuts. It was nuts. Well, not actually. No, it was very quiet compared to other trade deadlines in the
earlier in a couple weeks ago, which we'll get into later.
Exactly.
It was crazier than the actual deadline.
Exactly.
So.
And then finally, news broke. We're getting our NCAA football. The NCAA is allowing students to get paid for their own likeness. But to start off, Noah, he was a hometown boy. You traded him for Joe Musgrove and a washing machine, and now he's in the World Series. Garrett Cole, where's he going next year?
The Los Angeles Angels.
Really?
Yes.
The LA Angels.
I think that the LA Angels finally realized that Mike Trout needs to be in a postseason game.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to spend money, and they're going to get Garrett Cole for multiple reasons, for a couple reasons. Number one, Garrett Cole's from the Los Angeles area. He went to college at UCLA. He's from the area. He wants to go back home. I would think so.
Okay.
Number two. Here's a question. Do the Angels have the cap room to do it? Now there's no salary cap in baseball, so
which I think is stupid, but
yes. So they could pay him. They just gave Mike Trout a ton of money, which was very well worth it. Do they have enough to pay him? I say yes. And I think they are going to pay him if he wants to go there. But he's going to have his choice between the top-tier teams in the MLB to go to. The Dodgers, the Yankees, other teams like that. So he's going to get paid a lot of money.
Definitely.
I think they're expecting 7 years, $290 million plus for Garrett Cole.
That's ridiculous.
Which is ridiculous. But I think he's going back home to LA to play for the Angels.
You think he's going back to the Angels?
Yeah.
I think he can, I agree with you. He could go to the Angels. Or I think one team that's really needed some pitching help, that's got a lot of cap room, Boston Red Sox.
Yep. Yeah.
I feel like I could see him going to Boston. Boston paying him handsomely.
Yeah.
Because Boston's got to try and get back into the playoff hunt after they fired their manager this past season. They want to get back in a
15-yard penalty disagreeing with me. Continue.
All right.
Sorry.
You know what? See, it's just like the NFL. You got to stop in the middle.
Had to get
I
that
start
in.
rolling.
Yeah. Had to get it in. Had to get it in.
Whatever.
We're going to leave that flag there the rest of the time, so I'm not tempted.
That's fine. But yeah, I mean, that's really all that I could say. I don't know much about Garrett Cole. I've just seen his domination in the playoffs. But he's just...
Here's what we do know. We do know that he's going to go to a team that has the cap to pay him. Okay?
Most definitely.
He's not going to go to a team like the Pirates. He's not going to go to a team like the Rays.
Or the Indians.
He's going to go somewhere where he's going to get paid.
That's true. Speaking of Indians news, there's been grumblings that the Los Angeles Dodgers are looking to trade for
Lindor?
Francisco Lindor.
Yeah.
But
good move for the Dodgers.
That'd be a good move for the Dodgers.
The Indians already said that they really don't want him anymore.
No,
which I can
hold on.
understand
The
why.
Indians didn't say that.
Their management.
Not their management. Their owner said that because their owner is a moron who won't spend money. He's awful. Awful.
What's that like?
That's Phil in the background.
Yeah, that's
there.
Phil in the background. I know Bob Nutting doesn't spend on.
I will
the only
say
thing he spends money on is upgrading Seven Springs.
I am not going to talk bad about Bob Nutting today. Pirates had one of the greatest days in their history a couple of days ago with the firing of general manager Neil Huntington.
Good.
Really held them back. And I don't want to get sucked in to if Bob Nutting had a press conference when they fired Neil Huntington the other day. And that's the most open he's been with fans since he's been the owner of the Pirates. He didn't commit to spending more money, but he did commit to winning. He wants to get back to the Pirates' winning ways. And they want to get back to what they had in 2013 in the 3 years, 13, 14, 15. They want to get back to those years because Pittsburgh's a sports town.
Yeah.
And you want to see your teams win.
Yep.
And they hired a president, he used to work for the Penguins, Travis Williams, I believe his name is. I think he really knows what he's doing. He's never been a part of baseball before, but he said he's been a fan his whole life, which I really like the idea of him getting to pick his general manager now because he's going to pick somebody good, I believe, and then they pick their manager. So what a great day for the Pirates. Bob Nutting, you're okay right now.
Okay, right
For now.
For now.
For now.
Speaking of Nutting, he traded away Garrett Cole. But now Garrett Cole's team, the Houston Astros, are in Game 7 of the World Series against the Nationals. Noah, Game 7. Everybody loves hearing those two words. Game 7. What are we talking about? How are we feeling?
Who do I think is going to win? Number one, I think the Astros are going to win.
Yeah?
Who do I want to win? Mark, I'm sorry, I want the Nats to win. I know I'm going to say it, and I might jinx it, and the Astros might win, but I'm predicting that the Astros will win.
Okay.
It's going to come down to pitching, as every playoff game does. Whoever
Exactly.
has the best pitching wins the game.
Exactly.
It's as simple as that. You can talk about these offensive powerhouses like the Astros have, but if the Astros don't get good pitching, they're not going to win the game.
Nope.
Zach Greinke's on the mound tonight for the Astros. Garrett Cole will be in by the fourth inning.
You think so?
Words, yes.
Think so.
And Max Scherzer on the hill for the Nationals.
He's on short rest as well, isn't he?
Well, no, because he sat out. I can't remember if it was Friday or Saturday. He sat out that game that he was supposed to pitch because he was having neck spasms or back spasms and he couldn't move his arm.
Okay.
So that's something to watch for too. How long can he last being injured? So that another thing. Two pitchers that have pretty much struggled through the playoffs are going at it in Game 7. But you're going to see the best. Strasburg pitched last night. We can see Strasburg tonight. I guarantee it.
Oh, definitely.
Everything's on the line tonight. This is it. You have a whole off season to rest after this.
Yep.
Who do you think?
I hope the Nats win as well. As much as I hate Washington sports, because they won the Stanley Cup 2 years ago, they don't need another championship right now. But if anybody's going to win it, I hope it's the Nats. I'm a big Yan Gomes guy, the old former Tribe member. There's Tribe members on both teams.
Yeah.
Got Asdrubal Cabrera
Yeah.
on the Nats, as well as Yan Gomes, and then also Michael Brantley, of course, playing for the Astros. But yeah, I'm going to have to go with the Nats. I think the Nats will take this game. They'll win the pennant for the first time in
I hope you're right.
We were both
wrong.
history.
We were both wrong on our predictions. You said Nats in 6, I said Astros in 6.
Yeah.
So it's the 7 now. So now we're to one game prop here. I'm taking the Astros.
I'm taking the Nats. Moving along. The trade deadline was yesterday, and it was about as quiet as I am.
Yeah.
There wasn't much that happened.
There were rumblings,
There were a lot of rumblings.
but nothing went down by 4 o'clock yesterday, so
Nope.
that's it. It's just like that, it's over.
Nothing big happened. A lot
No.
of the different trades happened like
Last week.
last week. Yes.
Yeah. Emmanuel Sanders.
Emmanuel Sanders, Austin Corbett got traded. Jalen Ramsey got traded.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff like that.
The only one that we really can talk about that happened yesterday, which was kind of a big trade,
Yeah.
and a confusing one at first until I realized what it means. Akeem Talib gets traded to the Dolphins from the Rams.
Yeah.
That's a huge cap dump for the Rams, trading Akeem Talib.
They just got Jalen Ramsey.
And that's what they're going to use
Yeah.
the money that they dumped from Talib. That's what they're going to use the money to try to do. They're going to try to re-sign Ramsey in the offseason,
Makes
which is possible. Ramsey's a good player. He talks too much for my liking.
Talks too much.
Yeah, talks too much. Le'Veon Bell had rumblings yesterday that the Jets
I heard
wanted to
about that
shop
as
him,
well.
but That did not end up
A
happening.
lot of Jets were in rumblings. I heard rumblings that Jamal Adams
And
might
he's
get
not very
traded,
happy right now.
And he's not very happy right now. Yeah.
Because he wanted to stay in New York.
Yes.
And he specifically told ownership and management that he wanted to stay in New York, and apparently they went behind his back trying to trade him, which, for the business aspect of things, that's understandable.
Yeah.
This is a business where that's on the table at all times, unless you have a no-trade clause. But, things happen, and, but back to Le'Veon Bell, if you were a general manager, why would you want to trade for him? He's a great player, but why would you want to take on that money for him? Running backs don't last long in this league.
No, they don't.
So
he's starting to kind of look like he's aged, whether it be just because he's not behind the Steelers' offensive line or what. He's not looking like he did in Pittsburgh.
And I'm wondering if it was that the Jets really didn't want to trade him in the end, or was it that the teams weren't really interested in taking on that kind of money?
Yeah, I don't know. The one player that did get traded, though, from the Jets was Leonard Williams. He got traded down the street to the Giants.
Yeah. He
But
gets to stay at his own home.
He gets to stay in his own home, so that's pretty nice. The only other big name that was in the rumblings was Trent Williams, and he was closely associated with the Cleveland Browns. John Dorsey, of course, called about it because he likes to see what happens. And Washington wanted a first-round pick, and they also wanted cornerback Denzel Ward. And Dorsey didn't want to give up a first-round pick and his number one corner for Trent Williams, who might not even re-sign with them.
And do you think that Dorsey had any impact on Dorsey that Williams was holding out and hasn't played?
Yeah, well, today reports came out that he failed his physical.
Yeah, that's not surprising. Because he did report after the deadline.
He reported after the deadline,
Yeah.
but he reported for his physical today and he didn't pass his physical.
Mhm.
So, I mean, we'll see. So maybe that was good that they didn't get him this year. Hopefully they can either figure out and draft somebody or sign somebody. But the one thing that Dorsey doesn't know how to do is draft O-linemen. He drafted Austin Corbett. That's been his only bust so far of his draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it be he brings in a special consultant, a la Joe Thomas, or someone just to figure out what to do, because that's the worst part of their team, is the O-line. But I don't know.
Should be a good second half of the NFL
It should be a very good second half of the NFL season.
The AFC North is still up for grabs. The
It
Steelers can win it. Everyone can win it. Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Cleveland can win it, other than Cincinnati, who's benching Andy Dalton apparently.
Yep. For a kid who hasn't played a snap
which really,
during the regular season.
I think that's doing Andy Dalton wrong.
I think if anything, you should have traded him at the deadline.
Yeah, absolutely. Andy Dalton has done nothing wrong.
He's done everything that the organization's asked him to.
And he might not be the best quarterback out there, but he's not the worst. He's a middle-tier quarterback. He's solid.
He's, I think, number 3 or number 4 in the league this year in passing yards. It's not like his production's down.
And you have a young coach there in Cincinnati. Now, Marvin Lewis would have never let that happen when he was there. And
Marvin Lewis wasn't the sharpest tool.
No, he was not the best coach in the NFL. You could say that.
Yeah.
But he's at Arizona State now with Herm Edwards. So, good for Marvin, but it sucks for Andy Dalton. Like you said, they should have traded him yesterday.
Yeah. Even if it was for like a third-round pick or something, maybe somewhere he could play.
Yeah,
whether it be to Denver, who's now quarterback starved, or even down to Carolina. Somewhere.
I have a hard time doing that to a veteran player who's given everything to the team and has done nothing wrong.
Yeah.
But they kept guys like Vontaze Burfict for years.
Yep. It's ridiculous. But moving from one type of football to the other, the NCAA has finally announced that players can not license their own likeness, but their likenesses can be profited upon.
Yeah.
It's got varying opinions. Noah, what's yours?
I don't like it.
Okay.
Number one, it changes the game of collegiate athletics for good. Let me say it this way. College athletes, some college athletes, the bigger tier athletes, do make a lot of money for the universities.
Yeah.
But it's going to become an unfair sport. And they're called amateur sports for a reason. I know our producer Phil said before the show, these are 16 17-year-old kids.
Yeah,
So
going into college.
Going into college that are gonna end up getting paid maybe millions of dollars depending on who they play for. I don't like it. I think that a free education is enough, and I think asking for more is being a little greedy. Let's put it this way. The education means more than most people think, because what happens when someone goes to the NFL, and they tear their ACL or they get seriously injured that ends their career? Well, if you have an education, that's great, and it was a free education. You come out with no student loans or anything. I would die to get a free education.
I would as well.
In
I would as well.
college.
But I'm 5'10".
Exactly, and I'm 5'7".
There's no way I'm going anywhere unless I drop 150 pounds. So.
And another thing is, before we get to what your opinion is, where is this money coming from?
That's
Okay, I know that they generate a lot of revenue, but there's going to be excess revenue that they owe them if
Yeah.
they sign off on this.
Mhm.
Where's that coming from? And is this all divisions? Is this Division 1, Division 2, and Division 3? Because it's already an unfair game.
It is already an unfair game from Divisions 1 to 3.
I mean, the difference between Division 1 and Division 2 is a little bit of a drop-off.
Yeah.
Okay? But you see a lot of Division 2 athletes end up
But not-
playing Division 1.
But not even Division 2. I mean, even just from Division 1 to Division 1 AA.
Yes.
Like North Dakota State and like stuff
Yeah.
like that. There's a
Villanova,
drop-off, exactly, from those.
And then when you get to Division 2 and you compare it
Yeah.
to Division 3, that's crazy. That's a crazy
Yeah.
drop off there.
It is.
Even bigger than 1 to 2.
Well, that's the whole difference is Division 2 can't offer scholarships, Division 3 can't.
Yeah.
Kids are coming here to play the sport.
Right. Division 3 can't offer
Division 3 can't
scholarships,
offer
yeah.
scholarships, yeah. So
Yeah.
Division 3 athletes, it seems like, are the purest of the athletes because
Yeah.
they're playing to play.
Right.
Well, unless they go to Mount Union where they'll just win a national title every year.
So what do you think? Do you think that they should get paid for their images and for what they sell? I am happy about NCAA football.
That's what I was going to say. I will say I would take a different approach if I were the coaches. Because I feel like the reason why they're doing this is to keep the kids in college longer so they can keep the names in. If you want to keep the kids in college longer, how much do coaches get paid?
Yeah.
Look at how much Dabo Sweeney makes. What,
He's-
$6 million a year?
Yeah. He's one of the
And
highest.
Coach
paid-
K makes what, 10?
Yeah.
Something like that? Especially with basketball. Kids are leaving after their freshman year. If you want to do something like that and the coach genuinely cares about the kids,
Yeah.
what I would do, and my dad told me about this, and I agree with him, is you create a stipend for the athletes that you collect every year that they come back and they play. And then their senior year is a graduation gift. The coach gives them that stipend so they're not, even if they're not going to the NBA, they have money to get themselves out in the world.
Absolutely.
Because they might not have made money when they were in college, but it's just a little gift. Because that's legal. Once they're out of college, you can give them gifts and stuff like that. I feel like that is better than paying the athletes to use their likeness.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And another thing is, I think that in one way that this would help is the recruiting.
Yeah.
Rules on recruiting are just ridiculous. I don't know the specific rules, but you can't take someone out to eat or you can't
Nope.
give them a gift.
Nope, you
I
cannot.
think that's wrong.
I mean, well, here's the question. You can't give them gifts, but at the beginning of the season, I know most receivers get a pair of gloves every week.
Yeah.
They get 2 pairs of tennis shoes. They get a new pair of cleats every week. They've got sweatsuits. They've got sweatshirts. They've got T-shirts. They've got long sleeve shirts. And all that's provided. Is that provided by the football teams or by the basketball teams or by the school? How does that work? Because like my
Yeah.
younger sister goes to a Division II school. She goes to Clarion. She throws for their track team. And all she's getting this year as a Division II athlete is a T-shirt.
Yeah.
I get that for filming at a Division III school. Some of it doesn't make sense to me. A lot of it doesn't.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And you talk about these Division I athletes getting 2 pair of shoes, gloves, the
The visors.
the shields, the visors. Where do you think that money's coming from? It's coming from them generating money for the
Yeah.
school. So they are getting compensated out of it in some way.
They are getting compensated, but another thing I will say is that I know a couple kids who went through the college athlete process, Jerome Baker and Justin Lane, who I went to high school with. And like hearing what they kind of have to deal with is like they're up every morning at 6 o'clock,
Yeah.
lifting,
Yep.
going to practice, whatever it may be.
It's
They
a
don't.
job.
They barely have. It is a full-time job, and they're
Yep.
not getting paid for it.
Yep.
Like, there's days where they don't eat because they don't have time to eat, or if they want to get food, they can't afford a meal plan. So,
But again, they're getting an education out of it. And I think that's, I'm not going to
And-
sit here and say that
as much
that's
as much
the most important part, but
Yeah.
it really is in some way. And I don't want to sound like I'm an old person saying that, but it's
sound like
the
a
truth.
damn boomer.
I know.
Sound like a damn boomer.
It's the truth. It's really the truth that education is taken for granted. And I don't know if it's the athletes that are becoming too greedy but like you said, there's both sides because I'm not a Division I college
No.
athlete. I'm not up at 6 a.m. lifting or that,
Exactly.
okay? It is a full-time job, so
Yeah.
yes, they should be compensated in some way, but I don't know if cash is always the way to go in that instance.
Or I'm saying if you want to do something like that, whether it be giving them a stipend to buy food every week if they're living off campus, because it's cheaper for them to live off campus.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Like, and just, because that's the whole thing is, as the old saying goes, time is money, and if you have no time,
Yep.
you're probably not going to have that much money.
Yep.
Especially in college.
Yeah.
But, I don't know.
Hey, we'll see what happens with it.
We will.
Sure looks like right now that it's going towards the verge of they are going to get
Mhm.
paid. I will be happy that NCAA football will be
I
back.
think that's what a lot of people,
Yeah.
that's all that I've seen all over social media is that NCAA football 20,
But they should know if they do, vote that they should get paid, it changes the game forever.
it does. It changes the game forever.
It'll become a huge issue.
Another thing that they said is if this agreement starts now, as it goes through, the earliest we will get an NCAA sports game is 2022. So it'd be 2021 is when the agreement
Okay.
will be met, but 2022 would be the year of the
So we're
sports game.
still a couple years away from
We're
that.
still a couple years away from that if we want.
But
to.
it's coming.
It hopefully EA doesn't screw it up like they've done
Yeah.
most of their sports games.
Yeah. But that should be another topic conversation
Yeah.
someday.
What EA? What the
Yeah,
best sports games?
The best EA sports games.
Yeah, there's not too many.
I know, I know, I know.
I know. Alrighty, well that does it for us here at Off the Bench.
Yep, happy
So,
Halloween.
Happy Halloween to all of you. Till next time. Peace!